Back in 1828, in Buenos Aires, Argentina, something happened that would change everything. The city, a boiling pot of veterans, merchants, landed estancieros, and calculating politicians, was still reeling from the costly war with Brazil over the Banda Oriental. Peace had come, but not reconciliation. Into that fragile calm stepped a conspiracy that would turn a provincial quarrel into a national crisis.
To understand the plot, you must see the factions. On one side were the Unitarians, urban, mercantile, and intent on centralizing authority in Buenos Aires. On the other, Federalists like Manuel Dorrego embodied provincial interests and the rural caudillo tradition. Dorrego had been appointed governor of Buenos Aires in 1827 after Bernardino Rivadavia's short, turbulent presidency collapsed. He accepted the British-mediated Treaty of Montevideo that recognized Uruguay's independence, a bitter pill for many military officers who had fought for the Banda Oriental.
Juan Lavalle, a celebrated veteran of the independence wars and a Unitarian sympathizer, saw opportunity. Discontented officers, anxious elites, and politicians who feared Dorrego's populist measures formed a compact. They would seize power before Buenos Aires could consolidate a federalist agenda. The conspiracy was not a single dramatic meeting, but a series of coordinated moves. Private pledges in barracks, whispered alliances among salon politicians, promises of backing from elements of the press. On December 1, 1828, Lavalle acted. Troops loyal to him occupied key points in the city. The legislature was dissolved and a provisional government declared. Dorrego fled to the countryside, seeking to rally support and negotiate. Yet, the conspiracy had decided that removing him physically was necessary to break Federalist momentum. He surrendered at Navarro under a promise of safe conduct, or so some accounts insist, and was brought before a hastily assembled military tribunal. The court-martial was brief, the sentence inevitable: execution. On December 13, 1828, Manuel Dorrego was shot. The summary killing was presented by conspirators as an act of justice. To many others, it was a political murder. The plaza where it happened and the countryside where militias heard the news became incubators of rage. Far from stabilizing the nation, Lavalle's coup ignited a civil war that would rage for years. Provincial leaders, outraged by the execution of a lawful governor, mobilized. Among them was Juan Manuel de Rosas, a Federalist landowner who would convert popular indignation into political power, eventually governing Buenos Aires with an iron fist and reshaping Argentine politics for decades. Why call this a conspiracy rather than a simple coup? Because it was a deliberate network of promises and betrayals. Officers who traded loyalty for rank, politicians who swapped legal process for expedience, a press that spun legality around an extrajudicial killing. The architects understood that eliminating Dorrego might short-circuit Federalist organization. They underestimated how a single violent act would sanctify him as a martyr and bind disparate provinces in a counter-conspiracy of their own.
The consequences were immediate and long-lasting. The execution deepened the Unitarian Federalist schism into full-blown civil war. Economically and socially, the turmoil delayed the forging of national institutions. Politically, it paved the way for Rosas's domination and the suppression of political pluralism. Internationally, the episode signaled to foreign powers that Buenos Aires was a volatile partner. British mediation in the earlier peace could not now smooth this wound.
This is not a tale of shadowy foreign cabals or occult machinery. It is the plain, brutal arithmetic of early nation building. In the plazas and barracks of 1828 Buenos Aires, men chose to break law in the name of order, and in doing so, they set a course for decades of violence. The conspiracy that killed Manuel Dorrego did not solve Argentina's problems. It transformed them, turning local rivalries into the fulcrum of a national struggle for power and identity.